In the know, nonstop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Football, yeah! Football!
Yeah. Well, the standings got a little bit more crunched last night with a surprise Seahawks victory over the Eagles. How about
Declan's
that?
Declan's quarterback.
Dude, Drew Lock. Yeah, man.
My quarterback.
That was a great post-game interview on ESPN. And Lisa Salters, was it Lisa Salters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. She's just trying to get. She sensed emotion and like she's my pride.
She wanted the waterworks
out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She wanted the waterworks from him.
But like on the emotional part, I can see that it's really hitting you hard here.
She did a good job.
Do you have any dead family members we can talk about?
She did a good job.
When did your dog die? Have you ever had a dog die? Because if you did, I want to see those tears.
So as of right now, the Vikings, after the Seahawks pulled to 7-7, the Vikings are in a group of 4 teams at 7-7 in the NFC playoff picture. But because they hold the best conference record of those 4 teams, they are the highest seeded. So they are the 6th seed. The Rams are the 7th seed. They started 3-6, and they're 4-1 in their last 5. And then the Seahawks and the Saints are on the outside looking in, also at 7-7. But then you have the Falcons at 6-8 and the Packers at 6-8, who could go on. I would say the Packers may be more likely because they could beat the Vikings and jump up. But wow, what a time to be alive in the National Football League wild card race, boys.
This is the time of the year where I think 538 sold to. I don't know if it was the New York Times, but 538, the playoff projection site doesn't exist like it used to. So I just go to the New York Times playoff projection site, and this is the time of year where election day, when you're looking at all the Kornacki counties, looking at who can win all these votes. I'm doing the same thing with playoff predictions. So if the Vikings win here, and there's a Seahawks loss there, and then there's a Lions win here, and then I'm just mapping out all the roads to how the Vikings can make the playoffs.
It is, it's very winding. There's only 3 teams that are. Well, I would say the Giants and the Bears are out of it too, but all the teams we mentioned, and then there's Seahawks, Saints, Falcons, Packers. So there's literally 11 teams in the NFC alone going into the last 3 weeks that think they've got a shot.
Right, and there's, as you said, 5 teams at 7-7. But the incredible thing, or the sad thing, is that the 4 seed is going to be one of those teams because the South is so putrid again.
And I didn't even name that. The Buccaneers are the other set. So there's right. There's 5, 7, and 7 teams, and the Buccaneers are the division leader that's going to host a playoff game.
Vikings need to go 2-1.
That gets you in with the conference tiebreaker. Yep.
Yes, I think they go 2-1. They split with Detroit, and then I think the key game is the Packer game. But the Packers are back to play. The Packers defense is a mess. There's no reason you cannot beat the Packers. That team that got hot is now gone again.
But don't you think? Okay, here I think the best case scenario, and we're going to talk some Ty Chandler here, and we'll get to a dud stable and all kinds of other things. But I don't know that you're going to beat the Lions twice.
Right.
That's a really good team. So
Agreed.
Would it actually be better if you're going to go 2-1? Would it actually be better for the Lions to beat you this weekend? Because it wouldn't knock you out. I mean, if other teams win, it could knock you out momentarily, but you'd still have the best conference record.
Right.
The Lions will have then, I believe, clinched the division. So then they might go into week 18 in a couple weeks, resting starters and whatnot, giving you a path to beat the Packers and the Lions backups to get your 2-1.
The issue is was pointed out to me, though, week 18, the Lions might be playing for seeding.
Mm-hmm.
They could be, yep. They could be because they're a game behind San Francisco, and
so
yeah.
But I mean, I think if you split with the Lions and take care of business on New Year's Eve against the Packers, you're in the playoffs.
Yep. So all right, let's get into some. Kevin O'Connell said something interesting that actually kind of infuriated me about Ty Chandler yesterday. We'll get to that, but a shout out to our friends, boys, over at Sound Story. So this is for all the procrastinators too. You haven't come up with a great holiday gift idea. It's December 19th. Come on, guys. Come on now. So this could be the perfect holiday gift idea. With Sound Story, think about the people in your life. Like I've used, talking about Sound Story, my grandfather, who died 15 years before I was born, fought in World War II, played football at Notre Dame. I've never heard his voice before because he died in the late 1960s. I would love to hear his stories. I'd love to hear his voice. That's where Sound Story comes in. Think of it like a podcast in which the guest is one of the most important people in your life, telling their life story with a professional interviewer guiding the way, high quality studio audio, video if you want. I am on the list on the Minneapolis section of mysoundstory.com as one of the interviewers, so I'd love to help take you through this experience. It starts at just $3.99. You can get 10% off a gift certificate at mysoundstory.com with the promo code PURPLE. That's mysoundstory.com. Promo code PURPLE. Sound Story for you, for them, forever. Here's what Kevin O'Connell said about Ty Chandler. He'll be a featured, the word featured, part of the Vikings offense moving forward after his career performance in that loss against the Bengals. Quote, what that looks like moving forward as far as who gets the first touch of the game and all those things if Madison comes back, we'll continue to kind of work through that based upon scheme, O'Connell said. There's no question we have confidence in Madison, but I think Chandler has done a lot of great things and will continue to do so, and will hopefully be a huge reason why we're able to have success offensively down the stretch. Ty is exactly where we want him to be in his progression. I think the role he's ascending to is something we had our minds on when we brought him here a couple years ago. We'll continue to do everything we can to get him valuable touches and make him a big part of our offense. Why has this been such a hard, slow decision for the Vikings to make? Help me understand this.
Partially because I actually went back and watched the press conference to hear his inflection on especially this one. He also talked about the fact that Chandler did a nice job in some of the pass protection and protections on Saturday against the Bengals, which is a good thing for him to say. In listening to him and these comments, first of all, I got the impression that he is definitely trying not to say Madison's lost his job. So I think this has taken too long, but I think we're to the point where it's now he was basically, if you're O'Connell, clubbed over the head with the obvious here. Why this has taken so long? Stubbornness. I think it's stubbornness. I think that they decided that when they signed Madison and jettisoned Cook, that he was going to be the guy. And you know what? O'Connell is showing, and this is not surprising, this is football coach 101, but he is showing a stubbornness about things that don't make a ton of sense sometimes. He was very stubborn about the 3rd and 1 and then 4th and inches tush push. He was asked about it, and he gave a good answer. He didn't get short about it, but he gave a good answer. But he was very much into, hey, it's worked for us. Here's why it worked for us. Here's why we used a smaller guy in Powell. And I think that what we're dealing with here is a football coach who's stubborn and young, and I don't know that he necessarily is examining what he's doing yet like he probably should be at times. You know,
it's because yesterday we did the big episode about the chunk of Vikings fans that literally want Kevin O'Connell fired or on a hot seat. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have been checking your emails and your tweets, but we're getting a lot of backlash about that episode from a certain subsection of fans saying, wait a second, how can you defend him for this, that, and the other? It's like, I don't go down the path of putting him on the hot seat. But to me, the number one thing to criticize him for is the running back distribution this year. I was kind of curious, like, am I just imagining this? We're watching Ty Chandler, who ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. He looks more explosive. He measured more explosive. He's younger, more tread on the tires. And so I went back and looked. Alex Madison the last 2 years, because that's what matters. I don't care what he did in his rookie year. Like, he's a running back. I want, like, what are you now? What are you now, and what were you last year? Dalvin Cook was awesome 3 years ago. He can't get on the field for a bad Jets offense because time catches up quickly as a running back, right? Yards per touch. Alexander Madison the last 2 years, 4.3 yards per touch. Ty Chandler, 5.1. Almost a full yard per touch more than Alex Madison. Explosive play rate. That's right. We're digging deep here.
Football.
Yeah.
So 15-yard gains, either as a runner or as a pass catcher. 15-yard gains per touch. Explosive play rate. Ty Chandler, double Alexander Madison. 8% of Ty Chandler's touches are explosive. 4% of Alexander Madison's touches are explosive. So this whole, like, well, he's, this is where we want him to be in his progression and we're moving him along and we'll try to get him workload. It's like, hello, you literally have a running back that is levels above the other one in terms of explosiveness. Now, if you don't trust him on third down to read the defense the right way and pick up, that's fine. CJ Ham can do that. CJ Ham, and he's been doing it more. Come on in on third down.
Or Madison.
That's fine. Or Madison on third
We've
down.
talked
Just
about
like he did. He
down
did
back.
sometimes. He was not a great third down back, though. He's not a great pass catcher. So I'd rather have CJ Ham out there on third downs than Alex Madison.
It's baffling.
2 cents.
But I mean, I do think if you look at O'Connell, he is definitely far more friendly than Zimmer was. He's definitely far more polished. He's definitely seems like a guy who gets how to act with people. That being said, he is a football coach, and I'm telling you, it's stubbornness, man.
Yeah.
It's stubbornness. Like, why wouldn't you just say on 4th and inches it didn't work? Why would you? And Brandon Powell's the guy, and he's trying to be like, we thought the smaller package would work there, and it's like Orlovsky's breakdown was perfect. 2 big Bengals are right there waiting for it, So like, just say, yeah, you know what, we screwed up. It didn't work.
Yeah.
On 4th down.
It's hard, yeah, and he clearly has a vision for certain things, but it does feel like and the other criticism too on the play calling. It did feel like, okay, you've got this diet Brett Favre gunslinger out there who, for his career, by the way, has like one of the highest interception rates of any quarterback that started. Like, it's a thing for Nick Mullins to be a turnover machine.
Yep.
And you're basically gonna call the game as if he is Matthew Stafford or Kirk Cousins, the way that you guys drew it up in Los Angeles or this. Because this is the way the offense is supposed to run, and dang it, he's going to run it the way that I see fit. It's like, okay, but he probably shouldn't be throwing what did he throw the ball 36 times or something? He threw maybe it was 30, but it's like, I don't know that you need to be, especially when your running game is that good. You probably don't need, but these are just the Ty Chandler thing is to me the number one thing to criticize this coaching staff.
Well, because that's been a first guess all year. Like that's been since training camp. That's been a first guess. We've talked about that, and it's not just us. It's a lot of people, and we were all proven right. So like that is a very fair thing to say. What are you doing? Why aren't? And there's got to be people in the building who have pounded the table, right? Like there's no way there have not been people saying, okay, let's find a way to play Ty. And he's like, no, yeah. Alex has to play. But on the quarterback thing too, can be a league-wide thing as well, as far as, to your point, coaches saying, this is how I want to run my offense, so I'm going to run my offense, and there's no situational awareness. Case in point, on Sunday, I watched on Red Zone part of the Browns game, and Stefanski's got Joe Flacco at times gunslinging it. And he gets picked off. You know
3
why?
times, yeah.
Because he's Joe Flacco in 2024, almost.
He's old. You're
old.
So you can't.
So it's like you've got to.
You're old.
You're too old.
If you're gonna have, if we're going to ask a quarterback, and Nick Mullins is not this, but if you're going to ask a quarterback not to submarine a game, which hence means manage a game, guess who has to be managed first? That quarterback. So if you're like, yeah, let's try and throw it on, and I know, you know what, Kirk Cousins can. That's awesome. That's great. But you don't have Kirk Cousins. You've started 4 QBs, So that's my thing is you've got to at times just say, it's not ideal, but I'd rather have 3 points than a turnover.
Yeah.
Which he knows.
Yeah. I don't know. The Ty Chandler thing, just finally. And if Madison comes back now, and they go back to this like Madison gets 15 to 18 carries thing and Chandler gets 3 or 4, then maybe I will join some of those people.
Will you call for Kevin's job?
I'm trying to think of what would have to happen the next 3 games for me to be like, throw the 20-11 record out the window. Although I did have someone hit me up on Twitter this morning who's a loyal listener, and I don't want to rip, but it was like, wait a second, you're throwing out Kevin O'Connell's record. But at the same time, last year you were saying how fraudulent the way that they were winning games was. So which is it? Well, I think 2 things can be true. A head coach can be elevating his team in moments of football crisis to win more games than they're maybe supposed to in an individual season. Doesn't mean that model is sustainable for another year. And so what did the Vikings do? They got rid of their defensive coordinator that was giving up 27 points a game. They found a new one. Like, they changed their process. And in a lot of ways, the Vikings should have a better record than 7-7 this year, because is it really sustainable to be fumbling the ball twice every game and throwing all these picks? So the debate will continue, I suppose, about Kevin O'Connell until these last 3 games are done. But let's get our guy in here. He is the most passionate Vikings fan we know. You can find him on Twitter or X at RandyVikes69. Here he is, Randy in Cottage Grove. How are you coping with a pretty tough loss there on Saturday, sir?
You bet your ass we should have a better record than 7-7. You bet your ass.
What do you think their record should be?
12-2.
Wow.
12-2? Okay.
12, maybe 13-1. I don't know. That you got a next man up. Next man up is what I say. And a lot of people say, well, Kirko went down, then that's that. Not me. Nick Mulligan needs to step up. Needs to have a good as they say, bounce back game. He played okay in that second half.
Nick
That
Mulligan,
should be his game. Can I get a mulligan?
I think he would. Yeah, he would have liked a mulligan on that second interception for sure. Huh? You know what I'm saying?
He's a professional, is he not? He's a professional quarterback. Last I checked, it's not illegal for someone to go ahead and earn that paycheck, as they say. Yeah, maybe he thought he was going to come in here and just slide under the radar and collect the minimum or whatever he gets paid. But go turn some heads, Nick. Go put the Lions on notice. We beat them this weekend. It's game on. It's game on. And if we don't, probably shut her down. If we don't, shut her down.
They still make the playoffs, Randy. If they don't,
still win the division, Jeff. If they go, they beat the Lions twice. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, then the Lions, and then the third game would be Vikings and Packers, sandwiched in between. And the Lions have to go to Dallas in a couple weeks. So if you take care of business against the Lions, I'm with Randy on this one.
Yeah,
right.
But it's all in front of you right now.
But if they lose, they're not done yet. They've still got a chance at the playoffs. So I mean, come on, Randy.
It's all in front of them right now.
Yeah, Randy, you're the biggest fan there is. Come on.
We'd like to host a playoff game.
Damn right.
And the way that
last year, I don't know.
The way the NFC South is going, that division stinks. It's terrible. Worse than the North, and the Packers. They can't. I can't believe they didn't fire Barry. He sucks. Their defense is a Swiss cheese. So, you can chalk that up as a win too. Go ahead and win the next two. Go ahead and win the next two, and then we'll see what happens in Detroit. But that's gonna need a lot of creative play calling. No more of this tush push. I'm over that. That doesn't work. Shouldn't have done that twice. KOC. And Mulligan, it's time for you to make a move to be a professional, to earn earn your paycheck, because right now he's in the stable.
Randy, do you ever see yourself at the bar, needing to do the tush push, like you need to push your buddy a little out of the way, or you're trying to push your buddy towards the bar? Have you ever tried to execute the tush push on a successful or unsuccessful level?
A lot of times when you're in the line for the urinal, it's sort of you're in a hurry, and someone's sitting there, jostling, and they got to be done. They've been standing there a while.
You get up in there and let them know that there's. Let them know
someone's
coming.
Give them a nudge and go, hey, there's people waiting here.
What if they're not done?
Well, then probably see a doctor, because it's not supposed to take that long, Bob.
Amen.
Yeah, Bob. 2 shakes and get out of there. Come on, guy. Okay, it's
jostling.
Us older guys, it takes longer sometimes, Randy.
Not me. I take a supplement.
Yeah, Judd, maybe you should talk to Randy offline.
You take a lot of drugs, I think.
Maybe you have a growing problem. All right, it's time for the Week 15 dud stable. When the Vikings lose, we get the duds here. So, Randy, the floor is yours. Who makes the dud stable for Week 15, sir?
This is Week 15. This is 7-7, which means, other than the time I had to take off for community service, there have been technically 7 dud stables and 7 stud stables, which is not the ratio you want. It's not that's not a division winning ratio. but here it is.
It is if you're in some of the other divisions, I think. But the Vikings aren't. Yeah, you're right. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Number one. We'll start off with this. This guy's been a dud a lot of times this year, and for good reason, because he forgets that he's a genius, forgets that he's a smart guy. He's got a head on his shoulders, wants to just give his little rah-rah post-game speech. Maybe don't worry about that. Worry about maybe you're the guy who needs to get the game ball if you actually go out and call a creative game. Yeah. And so KOC, no more of this dinking dunking. A lot of us at the bar the other day were saying, "Well, is this Zimmer back now? This is what we do. We try fourth and one, and we're bulldozing. Roll someone out. Last I checked, Justin Jefferson, I believe, plays for this team. Put him in motion. Do something creative. Find different ways to be a genius. Because you squeezed a lot of juice out of a lot of rocks, and Nick Mulligan is a qualified pro. So KOC right now, look, you're a dud.
Wow.
Hot seat, Randy?
Not in the hot seat. No, he's not in the hot seat, but he needs to come up with some hot ideas. Go back to the X's and O's. That's what he does. Scheme. Go scheme.
Yeah. Get your ass back in that film room. Get back in the office.
The lab, we call it.
Tell the kids, tell the wife you're not going to see him for a while, and scheme. Scheme your ass off.
Wade Phillips. You had what they call I refer to as a mishap. I've had some of those. It's okay. But right now, you're part of this offense too, and you got to put your personal problems off to the side. You got to hire a good lawyer. I would recommend that because I didn't do that and I got hosed. But you got to figure out how to use Uber.com or Lyft, and get yourself where you need to go so that when it's time to focus on the game, you're not wading through your legal problems, as they say, and you're part of the offense too. So Wade Phillips, you're dud.
Should we tell him?
Phillips, yeah.
And finally,
Wes Phillips, so we don't get
this
sued.
Is the guy who I tried so hard to tell the guys at the bar the other day that he's got a cannon. He can really let it fly if they let him let it fly. But now it's up to you, Nick Mulligan. It's up to you to look in the mirror. It's up to you to say, I want to lead this team to the promised land. Not just the playoffs. Let's go win you win out, you win the division. That's a call right now, okay? So you win out, I think you win the division. So Nick, look in the mirror, ask yourself, it's going to be a whiteout, as they say at the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Sunday.
Right.
And Nick, do you want to be the kind of guy who is being hoisted up on the shoulders and they're saying you're Nick, you are a man. If you can't do it, no one can. Well, right now you can't do it. So figure it out. Figure it out, Nick Mulligan, because right now until you do, you're a dud.
Oh,
Randy?
Randy, are you there?
Away. He went
He's
away.
gone?
Mulligan. Speaking of Mulligans.
I can't tell if he's calling him Nick Mulligan like as a joke or if he doesn't know Nick's last name.
Well,
same with the Wade Phillips thing. Is he?
Yeah, that was.
No, I think he thinks. No, that's not a joke. I think he thinks.
He thinks the Vikings
Phillips
hired a grizzled defensive mind
to run their offense, to help run their offense. Yeah, I think the Mulligan thing. I think I sensed it was sincere.
Well, I don't disagree with Nick Mulligan being at the top of the dud stable. Why don't you quit throwing dumb turnovers inside the 30-yard line when you're in field goal range, huh?
I think he nailed it on Mulligan and O'Connell. I don't think Wes has much to do with much. So,
well, I mean, I'm sure it's Kevin's offense, but
right.
But if you think that Wes doesn't have much to do with the offense, then do you think Kevin had much to do with the offense that got him hired by the Vikings as head coach? Because he didn't call plays in Los Angeles.
I think Wes has a lot of suggestions. I think Wes has suggestions, but I'm just saying I don't think he was.
But if you're that dismissive of Wes,
yeah,
isn't that the exact role that Kevin played in Los Angeles?
Yeah, pretty much. He didn't call
making
plays.
Suggestions to Sean McVay.
Yeah, and he's proven himself. I'm just saying I don't think Wes belongs in the dud stable. But I think Mulligan, O'Connell.
The Vinster is back there. In fact, the Vinster is saying right now, the Vinster is saying, I need some Nutrisource.
Yeah, and he wants out right now to go eat that delicious Nutrisource, and now he's coming back. Now he's coming back.
He likes to stretch his legs out
Good for
really
him.
well.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
He is.
There you go. Little
He's
frog
adorable,
legs.
by the way. That
Thank
dog
you.
is adorable.
He's
That dog
very
is awesome.
He is a true Nutrisource dog. Nutrisource is the official dog and pet food of Purple Daily and Score North, boys.
As is Stella. Stella wants her food, and she wants it now. And let's see. This morning, 6:45, Stella said, "Nutrisource time. Pop, pop. Get out of bed." And there she is, Maya Mackey. Look at that harness.
Yeah, Maya's going to be up here probably in, what time is it here? I would say in the next 30 to 40 minutes, just stretching and making noise and just panting, waiting for her Nutrisource
What a
chicken and
cutie.
rice.
They're all cute.
NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a Nutrisource retailer like a Chuck and Don's, for instance, near you. If you're looking for a human food retailer, might we recommend Park Tavern, the official neighborhood sports bar of the Sports Dad?
Absolutely. All the games are on. Bowling. You've got a great selection of beers on tap. The food is outstanding. The space, well, let's just say it is plentiful. And in fact, I want to talk about that because if you are looking to throw a gathering, and I'm talking about holidays, I'm talking about, let's say there's a birthday coming up, anniversary, Park Tavern is the place for you. Space for everyone. Just go to their site, parktavern.net, and you can basically check out everything that you need to see, menus, make reservations. Park Tavern, St. Louis Park, located off of Louisiana Avenue South. It is a fantastic time. And again, if you're looking for a place to throw an event, I'm talking for 50, 60 people or more, Park Tavern is going to be the place that you want to pick. Again, parktavern.net is the site.
Also, hey, before we get to a pigskin pecking order and Judd guesses the PFF grades, which is one of our favorite segments of the week, Zero Res is here. Maybe there's still some time for you before your holiday gatherings the next couple of weeks, but if you're thinking about all the mud and dirt and spilled beverages over the holidays here with family coming over, you can't trust those. You know, your buzzed up uncle might spill a little IPA or something.
God.
Get that house deep clean to reset in January with Zero Res, a 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Google with over 17,000 reviews. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Score North special or go to the website, zeroresminnesota.com. The Score North special is 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129. 9520-RES or zeroresminnesota.com. Spelled forward or backward, it spells the same. Zero Res. Okay.
Football.
Let's do the pecking order here. Oh, I'll let Dex pop that up on the screen, where we each independently rank who we think are the top 10 teams in the National Football League, and then we put it together in aggregate form, and it spits out a top 10 according to Purple Daily. So let's start with the top 5. And last night, the Eagles lost. They've been very firmly one of the 2 or 3 best teams for most of us. We'll see how that affected things. Number 1 for the 3rd straight week, the San Francisco 49ers. Number 2, the Baltimore Ravens. And they play each other this week on Monday Night Football. Let's go.
Nice. Nice.
Football.
Tied for 3rd, the Miami Dolphins and the fast-rising Buffalo Bills.
I moved
The
him up
Bills.
not that much. Wow, impressive.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
No, man, the last 2 weeks rallying around beleaguered head coach Sean McDermott,
Yeah, well.
and then number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
You might say the Bills are rallying around Sean McDermott just like the...
Hey,
No, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, that was incredible.
So here's where we had the top 5. We all had the Niners number 1. We all had the Ravens number 2. And then things started to split off. We all had different number 3 teams. Judd had the Dolphins number 3. Declan has the Chiefs still at number 3. I moved the Bills up to number 3. Complete recency bias, but they also have one of the best point differentials in the
do.
league.
It's very impressive.
yeah.
So
they-
I don't know. They're catching fire right now.
I believe they still lead the league in touchdowns, and they also are number 1 in turnovers.
Yep.
So a lot of
They get a little
self-inflicted
reckless.
wounds, but yes, they score a lot of points, and their defense is back on track too.
And they're running the ball now too. That's the thing. Like they won that game dominant fashion with 15 pass attempts. James Cook just going off.
Yeah, they
So
can run
if
now.
Buffalo's running the ball now, which they
Yeah.
really haven't done much outside of Josh Allen the last few years, game changer. Number 4, I had the Dolphins 4. Declan has the Bills 4. Judd has the Chiefs 4. So that's how we draw them up. We all agree on the first two, and then things get weird. Cowboys have fallen down to 6. Lions at 7. Eagles at 8. Cleveland Browns at 9.
Who's 10?
And all three of us were like, what do we do with the 10th team? So we all picked different number 10 teams. So tie for 10th are Jaguars, Bengals, and Rams.
Okay.
I had the Rams winning 4 out of their last 5 in the 10.
Yeah.
Judd has the Jaguars clinging to the top 10.
I just left the Jaguars 10 because this is such a hodgepodge.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
And yeah, Declan moved the Bengals with Jake Browning, the golden arm of Jake Browning, up into the 10.
Yep.
For the Vikings, we all have them either 15th or 16th. Judd and I have them 15th. Declan has them 16th. So just right smack dab in the middle of the pack.
I just left them there. I was going to demote them a couple spots because of the loss. And then I'm like, yeah, but
it wasn't worth your fingers to even type.
No, exactly. Like once I got to 9 or 10 and this, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to change anything. Screw it.
I'm not going to waste any energy with my typing fingers to move them. So there you go. Yeah, the top 10 teams again: Niners, Ravens, Dolphins, Bills tied at 3, Chiefs at 5, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, Browns, and then a tie with Jags, Bengals, and Rams at 10.
How much did how bad the Cowboys looked against the Bills mean, do you guys think?
Well, I think it just validates some of the already existing concerns about the difference between the Cowboys at home versus on the road, the difference between Dak Prescott at home versus on the road, and then just in general, Dallas playing really good teams that can punch back. And how do they respond? I mean, that's kind of what the Niners have been to Dallas, right? Like the Bills gave Dallas a very 49ers-like avatar. We're going to run the ball. We're going to get after your quarterback. We're going to beat you in the trenches and see how you respond. And Dallas did not respond.
No.
So it's just kind of that Eagles win was great for them, but it just kind of, I don't know how you can put them up there with the Niners, and it's almost like the Cowboys and Eagles have both kind of fallen down in
the
recent
Eagles
weeks.
thing is weird. Like demoting your DC and taking away his play
weird
calling
vibes.
duties and giving it to Matt Patricia. Yeah, that one feels like it's somehow spiraling. I don't think Dallas is spiraling.
The Eagles now also have a worse point differential than the Vikings.
Yeah, that's weird.
Man.
It's been a weird year.
And the Vikings have a better point differential than the Vikings last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings were a minus point differential. They're, what are they, plus 18 or something? Something there, plus 15, plus 20. So it's, last year, a 13-win Vikings team, probably more like a 9 or a 10-win team in actuality. This year, a 500 Vikings team probably should be more like a 10 or maybe even 11-win team without some of the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, it's time for Judd to guess the PFF grades here.
Okay.
We put Judd's longtime football knowledge, his eye test, up against PFF's internal scouts. And we're going to play by our rules this week because you just confused us and the audience. Start with the offense.
I'm focusing right now. Hold on.
Okay, well, focus on the rules.
Offense first. We're looking for the 3 best and 3 worst performers. You get 3 total strikes to guess the 6.
Okay.
And we'll draw the line at, we'll say 15 snaps on offense.
Okay.
I'll tell you if someone didn't pass that threshold.
Okay. Top 3. Ty Chandler.
Ty Chandler is correct. The second highest graded offensive player at 79.2. Also worth noting, in the pass protection game, he had 10 pass protection snaps, an 84.5 grade out of 100.
Not good enough. No, I'd bench him. If it's not 100, I'm benching him. Okay.
Let's get his ass
Hold
out
on.
of here.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, the number 1 graded offensive player.
He had a hell of a game. Of course, it helps to have JJ back, but he had a hell
I
of
think
a game.
perfect passer rating when targeted. Yes, on Saturday.
Stud, man.
They had a good.
passer
Those two did have
Stud.
a good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Could see it.
What's Jordan Addison at now? Let's check here. He's gonna hit 1,000, right? He's
not gonna. He's at. He's kind of famine. He either goes off or he doesn't put up a stat.
Well, the
He's had
Dobbs,
big
the end of the
games.
Dobbs thing, he didn't do
Yeah.
a thing because they couldn't.
Got some touchdowns though, doesn't he? Have like 8
Yeah.
touchdowns? Or
He might
something?
lead. I
has-
think he leads rookie receivers in touchdowns, right?
He's
Or-
at
or no.
62 catches for 824 and 9 touchdowns on the year.
Nice.
The
I know
Rams
Rashee
rookie
Rice
might
has
have more.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Rams rookie might have more too. I'm not sure.
So can he get basically 175 yards in 3 games?
Oh yeah.
He could wind up with 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns in his rookie season. It's pretty damn good.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay,
85 grade out of 100, by the way.
Okay, so I've got 2 of the 3. Now I need a third. So actually, statistically, I think Mullins had a pretty good game, but those two picks have to kill him in the grading system. So I'm going to say he's not top 3 because of those 2 plays alone, I think would drag you down, and they should. Oh boy, I'm trying to think offensive line here. If I am missing somebody, Christian Darrisaw.
Christian Darrisaw.
Old reliable is what I like to call him now. Not reliable enough.
There. No. I'll hit you with some.
He did get beat on that one sack early in the game.
Yeah.
I'll give you his real quick since you brought him up. So, offensive line stats here. Darrisaw he was credited with 2 sacks allowed, 3 pressures in that game.
Oh wow, then he was not. I missed on that one. Woo. All right, so I'm looking for one more positive. Top 3. Okay, I'm gonna go back to skill position players. Tight end, or do I want to go Justin Jefferson? I'm trying to think if Hawkinson had any obvious bad plays, and I don't recall now because it was so long ago. I'm gonna go. Yeah, you know what? Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson.
I'll go away from Hawk.
He was the 4th highest graded player. 77.5.
Oh my God.
For JJ.
Okay.
Did we ever get the conclusion on did he run the wrong route on that first pick? It looked like that Philadelphia play from last year.
We did not, and O'Connell talked about it and said that Nick thought he could get the ball. Like Nick thought he saw something he didn't. So I'm guessing that but I mean, he's not going to say Justin ran the wrong route. Yeah. Justin will have to say that, and he'll talk in a couple of days or tomorrow. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll go with Hawkinson, TJ Hawkinson.
There it is. 3rd highest grade is 78.9. 90 catches, 900 yards on the season. So he's definitely going to, I would say, unless he gets hurt, hit 100 catches, 1,000 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns too.
Weird year. Like, because it's been statistically good, but there have been games where there definitely could have been more.
Yep. All in all, he's recovered a lot from like those first couple weeks, but
absolutely.
So you're at two strikes. You have 1 strike left to guess the 3 worst offensive players.
All right. Garrett Bradbury.
Garrett Bradbury was the 3rd worst graded offensive player, a 60 grade out of 100.
I feel like I saw a very average to below average game from Garrett.
He got dinged in the run blocking. Specifically?
What's my snap count at? Again?
15.
Okay, 15.
I'll give you, if you have a question about a player's snap count, I will answer.
Ed Ingram.
Old reliable. 2nd worst. 55 grade out of 100. He only allowed the 1 pressure, but run blocking was a huge problem, according to PFF.
All right, so do I stick with who I brought to the dance and stay with the offensive line, or do I go rogue?
Drama rogue? Here. This is great. You have 1 strike elsewhere. And 1 remaining player.
Okay, so boy.
Can he do it?
Okay, you know what? Speaking of old reliable, this guy's been in the bottom 3 fairly consistently since the day he started. Dalton Reisner.
Oh, no. I thought you were going the other way. Oh, no.
No.
Dalton Reisner was a 61 out of 100. KJ Osborne is who we were looking for there. 50.6 grade.
That's still a pretty solid effort. I'll take that effort.
Rough, man. So, okay, let's go over to the defensive side of the ball here. Same drill. 3 best, 3 worst, 3 strikes.
All right, Danielle Hunter, 1 of 3 best.
Danielle Hunter. I could have given you a snap cutoff here.
But
And I
you know,
will. It'll be he definitely hit it, but just to give you a snap cutoff,
Yeah.
we'll say 20 snaps. Daniil Hunter.
top 3. It's BS.
I don't know how this is possible, but he had 9 pressures, 3 sacks, and 3 stop tackles, and had a 55.5 grade out of 100. They hated him in the run defense game, and they somehow didn't love him in pass rushing. So maybe like the offensive line was so bad. I don't know how you have 9 pressures, 3 sacks, 3 stop tackles,
I'm
and
shocked.
not have a great grade, but here we are. So
I saw a lot of him on Saturday. I thought for sure he'd be a top 3.
I think you got screwed here, personally.
Okay.
But
All right. Ivan Pace, top 3. Ivan Pace.
Ivan Pace, he was the 6th highest, so kind of in the middle of the pack, 62.5 grade.
All right, I only got 1 strike left now, and I'm
Yeah, this would be
0-4.
tough road here now.
Yeah, this is gonna be difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna work here anymore. Josh Metellus, top 3. Josh Metellus.
Joshua Metellus. Man, now this is tough. Yeah, over 3 here. 57.4 grade. So yeah, there's 2 guys who played really well, and everyone else was garbage basically. Byron Murphy Jr. was an 83.5.
I wouldn't have got that.
And Sheldon Day was a 76.5.
Okay. I don't feel bad.
Harrison Smith, a 65. GJ Wanham, a 64. At the bottom, Cam Bynum was atrocious, a 34 grade out of 100. And then you have Patrick Jones, who he just doesn't do anything.
He's continually down there. Yeah, he has not been.
And Troy Dye was down there too. So it's kind of.
So hold on a second. Explain if it does the Bynum grade. I'm surprised it's that bad.
So he was targeted 8 times, or there were 8 throws where he was the primary defender. 8 for 8 for 90 yards, and a touchdown allowed. So that's kind of the story for him.
Okay. I didn't think I saw him being that bad, but clearly he was.
Yep. And sometimes when they run, they're running these like the zone defense behind you, put 7 guys, 8 guys up front, they're all bailing back, and it's sometimes hard to tell, I feel like. But
if I had gotten there, which I didn't, I was gonna guess a bottom 3 was like Mekhi Blackman. Or a Caleb Evans.
Yeah, and Mekhi Blackman, for the record, was kind of middle of the pack among Vikings defenders. He only played 20 snaps too.
Okay.
But yeah,
Where was Caleb Evans?
Keep playing, man. 5th highest, 64.5.
Really? Oh wow. Okay.
Well, he only allowed 1 reception on the day. Well, wait a second. But wasn't he? It says he didn't allow a touchdown. Who got burned on that touchdown? They're saying Blackman did. That's weird. They're giving the touchdowns to Blackman and Cam.
How would they know what the?
I feel like they might have messed. I think PFF might have messed up here. What's going on, guys?
So wait, so they're saying Blackman was the primary defender and like passed him off. I'm very confused.
I am too.
Doesn't really matter, but I'm confused.
Daniil Hunter now tied for 9th in the NFL in pressures, right behind Myles Garrett, right ahead of Bradley Chubb, Hassan Reddick, Karlaftis, Chase Young, Montez Sweat.
Well, I'm sorry. That game on Saturday, from Daniil Hunter's standpoint, was impressive. I'm not going to ding him.
He's tied for the lead in sacks. He's got 17 sacks, tied with Trey Hendrickson, tied with TJ Watt.
Yeah,
I'll take that performance all day long from Daniil Hunter. So we would take the performance of Finch Home Solutions too, to help you straighten out your electrical systems, your hot tub. That van going around the Twin Cities, Judd.
That van pulls up in front of your house, and do you know what you realize at that moment? What crystallizes the fact that Cody Finch and his team, fast, courteous, professional, efficient, they're going to, as Phil said, take care of any electrical issues, big or small, that you might have. Plenty of people in the PD family have tried Finch, and we've seen plenty of positive reviews because you know what? Finch works. Finch works so well that I allowed them into my house. That's right. I don't even let Declan into my house. They came in. They did a fantastic job. Again, courteous, professional, quick. 612-357-2604, 612-357-2604, or finchhomesolutions.com, a revamped, easy to navigate website finchhomesolutions.com. Cody loves two things. He loves to protect you and your family by making sure that the electrical issues in your home are fixed. And he loves the Vikings. And right now, only one of those two things is not letting Cody down, and that would be his company.
So thank you guys, by the way, for making Purple Daily one of the most listened to football podcasts in America. I saw it was right up there in the top 15 for a few days last week. And right now, when you look at the Apple National Football Podcast rankings, Purple Daily is one slot ahead of the Richard Sherman podcast. So that's pretty cool.
Because we're more controversial.
I don't know. He's pretty controversial.
I'm joking.
So
yes, he's very controversial.
It's also ahead of the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast. Is that kid friendly? Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
That's probably a reference to the fact that every time I see Chris Sims,
he's got a tie
his
on.
shirt is or just a dress shirt, and it's always buttoned up to the top.
You might want to clarify just for the people that don't understand.
Well, I mean, it's not the Unzipped podcast. Your fly is
either
down
way,
podcast.
Purple Daily is ahead of it by a few slots. So thank you guys. Please click the like button and the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And if you could give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts, that helps as well. We'll see you guys for a bonus episode today. Quarterback talk.